Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. The Channel's Book Club Prize for Literature Season 5 is on. If you're a senior secondary school student in Nigeria, this is your play. All you need to do is to get this interesting book titled Daughters Who Walk This Path. Read it and write an essay to review it. Check out www.channelstv.com/bookclub and our social media platforms for the announcements and also all the information you need about the competition. You should also look out for the commercials on Channel's television and on this show. This year, the winners will be sponsored to New York City. New York is an amazing city. So many things to learn about the place, but here are two interesting ones. New York is the biggest city in the United States. You probably might have known that, but it's always worth saying. It's a huge, huge city. Then the New York Public Library has over 50 million books. 50 million books. Hopefully that's where one of you guys who win the competition will be visiting when you go to New York. Another thing is the figure on your screen is probably the most important monument in New York. Did you know that it was donated to the Americans by the French? Yeah, that's it. So again, that's somewhere you'll probably visit if you win this competition. So Nigerian students, get ready and visit the mentioned webpage for information. The competition is already on right now. Closing date is 5th of April, 2020. If you want more information, go to that website, or give us a call or send us a message. I'll be happy to clarify that for you. Our guest author today is a young US-based Nigerian writer who has created a unique series of books for young readers. She presented the book to the public at an event in Lagos before this interview. Let's start by showing you how the event went. When we return, this young lady will join us to chat about her writing and books. You don't want to miss that. Please stay with us.
Technology merged with culture in Feyi Fay, a new series of books for children written by Omobola Imoisili. At an event held in Lagos, the first two books of the series was presented to the public. Guests shared their thoughts on the book, and perhaps the standout observation appreciated by all is the indigenization of the book and the application of technology in the stories.
Very exciting book. Very, very exciting. And I must commend her for a visionary drive that has propelled her to do such a book. I recommend that book for our growing children who continue to seek for ideas and new things in this competitive world.
I have had the opportunity of having a look at the book, and I have noticed that the book is based, entirely on environment. Environment in the sense that children, are being trained or educated or being informed on the basis of what they see, on daily basis.
When I look back now, there was no black child in any of those storybooks. I knew a lot about winter. I knew a lot about, summer. I knew a lot about, I'd never seen snow, but I knew about winter. I could draw a snowman. I could draw Santa Claus, who of course was a white man with a big white beard, and so on and so forth. We've got, now I'm so glad that we are getting to a stage where we know that we better let our children understand who they are.
It was very much the show of the children after all. The books were written for them. In a Q&A session, they shared what they liked best about the books.
What I love the most is because around us there are lots of American books, and the Feyi Fay books brings the Nigerian culture. Even in Nigeria, if we could go around, there are lots of American and foreign books around us. And the Feyi Fay series bring the Nigerian culture around the world.
What I liked about Feyi Fay and the books was that it was full of excitement and full of laughter and was very interesting to me, and I really enjoyed it, and I really think that all the kids around the world should read it because it will really help, and it is very, very, very good.
When Feyi Fay wanted to help children, she used like these items to help the children. And they weren't like ordinary things like, let's say like a magic wand. They were like items like drums or cookies or things that could do like really awesome stuff. And it was like really magical and creative. That's what I liked about the book.
The author was excited to finally have her books released, and she told the story behind the book.
It was difficult to find products, books, stories, anything. Like if you look on all the things for kids, a lot of them don't represent a lot of Black or African children. Talk less of culture. And my daughters were very aware of those type of things. Anytime I would buy them something with, a little girl, African girl, they would be like, she looks like me, and I was just like, we need more of this. We need to we need to celebrate our beauty, our culture. And so that's when I decided that I was going to go forward and start writing this series of books, because I always wanted to be a writer, but having my daughters was like the thing that just, put it over the edge for me, because I wanted for them to have that representation.
Perhaps Feyi Fay will turn out to be Nigeria's own version of some of the most successful series of fiction books created specially for children.
Thank you.
The early signs are good.
Bola, nice to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So you are writing a series, Feyi Fay. The most successful books in the last couple of years have been books that have been designed in series form. Not even in the last couple of years, many years back. You can remember the Enid Blyton series. If you are looking at crime fiction or crime thrillers, you can think about books like books written by people like the great James Hadley Chase, books written by so many great authors in the past. So what you are doing here is creating a series of books centered around a protagonist called Feyi Fay. Tell me a bit about this.
So, Feyi Fay is, she's a girl. Well, in the book, she's kind of like a fairy, a magical person, and she travels the world helping kids solve problems. So her job really is a problem solver, and in a way you can view her like a superhero, because the kids view her like, oh, this is somebody who's helping me. She comes in, she helps them solve the problems. So she travels, she goes to different countries, so they get to explore different places around the world. But Feyi herself is, her culture is based on, Nigerian culture. So there's a little bit of that Nigerian culture woven into it as well.
Yeah. So let me read what you wrote at the back here. I mean, for viewers out there who are probably curious. With the help of a magical app, Feyi Fay, did I pronounce that well?
Feyi Fay. Yes.
Feyi Fay travels the world helping kids with any problem they can imagine. Bullying, making friends, monsters, anything. Kiddie stuff. In book 1 of the series, Feyi is needed in England to help a little boy with a mysterious case. There's a wicked woman wearing red shoes in town. She frightens kids at night and stops them from having fun ever again. She must be stopped, armed with glitter that makes you invisible, chocolate chip cookies that make you giant-sized, and a stick that shrinks you as tiny as an ant. Feyi Fay arrives on the scene and saves the day. So that's a typical Feyi Fay day. Right.
Exactly.
So Feyi Fay uses an app.
So the whole story, well, you know, because everybody talks about how kids, you know, are not reading as much, they're using apps. So I just wanted to find a way to incorporate it a little bit.
Yeah.
So the way the story goes is that, you know, when a child picks up a phone, there's like an app on the phone, and only children can see this app. And with this app, they can call for help. So they go on the phone, they click the app, and then they call Feyi for help. So whatever it is, you know, like let's say somebody is bullying the child. They're like, okay, I need help with bullying. Okay, let me go find my phone. Let me get the app, call Feyi for help. She comes. So it kind of incorporates a little bit of science fiction in there a little
to
bit.
the story.
Yes.
Can Feyi Fay be in two places at the same time?
No.
So if I use my app and get Feyi Fay with me, you've got to wait your turn before.
But the thing is, when you read the story, you'll find out that we're following the story of Feyi Fay, but there are a lot of other people just like her. So when you call the app, you get Feyi Fay, but somebody else might call the app and get Kemi. And somebody else might call the app and get, you know, Emeka, you know, like whatever it is. So you get different people. But in the series, we're following the story of Feyi Fay in particular. And, you know, some of the other characters, you know, are introduced into the book, but she's the main person. And then over time, you'll start to see some of the other characters getting involved. So I like to view them as like an army of helpers that are just helping kids, you know, with their everyday problems.
And you seem to inculcate a lot of Nigerianness into the story. The characters, the names, for example,
Yes.
Captain Nosa.
Yes.
You know, not Captain America or Captain whatever, you know, and all that. What's that about?
So that was very important to me because, you know, you mentioned Enid Blyton books earlier, and that was one of my favorite books series to read, like any kind of Enid Blyton book when I was in primary school. You give it to me, I'll read it. And so, but if you notice, like all those books, they are based in a certain country.
Yeah.
You know, like, so you learn, you start to learn about other places, and you don't really learn
anything about Nigeria or Africa.
And then, well, but we're here, you know, like you don't really see books like Enid Blyton stories, but with an African feel. So I like to think of it like, you know, in a lot of movies, when you watch like superhero movies, it's always a foreign country saving Africa. But now it's our
Time
turn.
for Africa to save the world.
Well, it's our turn
The
to
Black
save
Panther.
the world. Exactly.
Why do you write, and why are you writing this?
Well, first of all, I really wanted to start writing when I was young. When I started reading like all those Enid Blyton books and Disney.
Secret
Seven,
Five. Famous
Secret
Five. Secret Seven. And the rest of them.
Wishing Chair, Magic Tree, you know, all of those ones like that. I used to read them, and I started maybe when I was like 10. I tried to write my first story, didn't go anywhere, but the day I decided I was going to write this book was because I have two daughters, and we live in Los Angeles, and the area we live in Los Angeles, there are not a lot of black people around. And they compare themselves to all the people that they see, and there's nothing like reminding them that, you know, it's fine to look at other people, but you yourself, you're beautiful just the way you are. You know, my daughter comes home and she's like, that's a peach person, that's a tan person, that's a brown person, that's a... And I'm like, what? What is this? She's like noticing all things. And every time I buy her a book or anything, you know, with a black character, she's like, oh, that looks like me. So I was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, let me go and be deliberate about buying these things for her. But then I didn't see so much, you know. There was not a lot of books. There were not a lot of even products, like, you know, T-shirts and backpack. You have to go out of your way to find it. And that was when I was like, you know what, this is the time to do it, yeah.
Okay. I mean, we don't have so much time. Did you worry about children not reading when you were writing this? Every parent now, I mean, a lot of parents now, children don't read, they don't read. Did you think that if I write this, who's going to read it? Was that a worry?
You know, at the time, no. I just knew that I had a story to tell, and I just decided I was going to write it. And I just felt like the story was compelling enough that people would enjoy reading it. My goal also is to turn it into a TV show. A lot of people have said, a lot of people who've read it have said, oh my goodness, this would work well for TV. So, you know, hopefully, you know, I will be able to turn it into a TV show. But I think I just, you know, sometimes when you have a story to tell, you're not really focused too much on, are people going to read it? You're just like,
you just want to get it out.
I have this story to tell, I need to get it out. Yes.
Great, great. Mobola, thank you very much for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for giving us this very precious gift.
Thank
When
you
is the
so
third
much.
one coming out? Very soon, right?
I hope so. I'm working on it.
Well
yes.
done. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us on
Thank
Channels
you.
Book
Thank
Club.
you very much.